thought it would be a bit of fun to show some of the realities of living here in central Finland in the forest in the middle of winter while renovating a 140-year-old log cabin with no running hot water, no inside toilet, no shower. I've posted lots of stuff about the actual renovation. I've posted lots of lovely pictures of the scenic beauty of the lake, the wilderness, the nature, etc. But the truth of it, there's some pretty hard stuff to contend with, like going to the outside toilet in pitch black when it's -15 and colder, snow and ice, having to deal with what comes out, and dealing with that. You know, it doesn't just get flushed away. We have to deal with our own stuff, literally. The fact of having to wash in the sauna, you know, when it's dark and cold, and lighting fires. I've posted videos, I think, before about heating the water in the batter, so I won't touch upon that. And just the general weather and conditions. The snow is lovely, but the reality is snow doesn't always stay as snow. It has a habit of turning to slush and ice, and that's pretty tricky to contend with from a walking point of view and also a driving point of view. So I thought I'd just kind of share some of that, just to kind of prove it's not all, hey, great, it's all easy. It's not. It reminds me of when we first moved here. One of our neighbours has said, "Oh, you're moving to the country, you're giving up the easy life in the city." And I'll be honest, I was a little bit, whoa, city life isn't easy, you know, because it has its own stresses. But actually living in the country for some time, experiencing different weather conditions and other things we have to contend with, I realised that country life isn't easy at all, and city life is easy in comparison for some things, and others it's not, of course. But yeah, it's made us really appreciate some of the things that we have taken for granted. You know, living in a modern house with modern plumbing, electricity, lights that go on and off, all that stuff that you just know is going to be there. But living in a place where that doesn't exist yet, and while we're renovating, it has been tough. Getting water, we don't have clean, tested drinking water yet. We have a well, we have our own supply of water, yes, but it's not drinkable yet. So when we want to have water to drink and cook with, we have to make sure we get enough from our local spring, which is 5 kilometres away. So it's things like that that we have just taken for granted, and then we're faced with their own challenges. And don't get me wrong, it's all good fun, but it can also be quite tough. And it's all worth it, but yeah, just wanted to share some of the things that we've had to deal with. This is where we get our fresh drinking water from the nearby spring, which is about 5 or 6 kilometres away. We have to fill up our 5 and 10 litre canisters once a week or so. Yeah, this is the realities of living where we do, with no tested drinking water yet at our place. We've got a well, of course, but it hasn't been tested yet, so we can't drink it. So we've been doing this for 8 months now. Welcome to our world. Lovely fresh water. Another reality of living where we do in a very snowy central Finland is of course the weather. And while I love the snow, and in previous videos we've shown what it looks like when we've had 30 centimetres of snow overnight and we've had to dig ourselves out and plough the road, of course, which is actually quite good fun and yeah, relatively straightforward to manage. The bit that's not so fun, which is part of the snow life cycle, is, as you can see behind me, sheet ice. So our driveway and our yard, and I think I've shown the path to our toilet in another clip. It's just sheet ice, and that isn't fun. We've had some very unusual hot weather for this time of year, and when I say hot weather, +2 to +5 for a number of days, and it turned the lovely snow into horrible slush, which is my least favourite part of the snow cycle, I must say. Turned it to slush, which you don't normally get till sort of April time at spring when it warms up, but we got it a few days ago, and then when the slush freezes, because it's now got cold again, it's got to minus, it turns to this lovely ice, and it's horrible. But I have to say the ice is marginally better than the slush actually, which sounds a bit ironic. At least with ice you can wear studs on your shoes and you can get some kind of traction, and the car tyres have studs, which is pretty good on the ice. Slush, no chance. Studs don't really do anything. The studded tyres don't get as much purchase on the slush because it's just like liquid ice and it's just so slippery and it's horrible. Wet, slippery. Yeah, I don't like slush. In fact, it's the only time one of our 4x4s got stuck on our hill because it was just so much slush and we had to get some help. Yeah, slush is horrible. Ice is marginally better. But both Ella and I have already fallen over on the ice at some point and cracked different parts of her body. So yeah, again, another harsh reality. And then when the snow settles, as it's doing now on the ice, that gets pretty slippery too. And poor Luigi, my tractor in the background, sometimes gets a bit of trouble with a bit of traction because I don't have any snow change yet. But yeah, another reality of living in the forest in the winter in central Finland. Just like my tractor drive. This is another reality of living in the forest with no flushing toilet at the moment. This is our path to our outside loo, and because it's got warm and then frozen again, it's literally like an ice rink. So the reality is of when you want to go to the toilet, you have to dice with death. This is all ice. And imagine doing this in the pitch black with just a head torch. Can't wait to get a proper toilet. Another fun reality is walking down this very slightly slippery ice path. You've seen our outside toilet, which is a compost toilet. And you hear people saying very often, oh, I've got to deal with my own shit. Well, guess what? Living here in the forest with an outside toilet, we really do have to deal with our own shit. That green bin is full of our business over the last number of months, and that's now decomposting for a year. We're gonna have to leave that for a year, and then we can start using it on the garden once it's gone through its composting process. But obviously it's pretty cold at the moment, so nothing's really happening. It'll start doing its magic in the summer when it gets warmer, but then we've got to let it go for at least a year and then check it. So that one's full, and then we've got another one that we will start using in the summer. We're hoping that we get our proper flushing toilet working very soon, so that we don't have to keep doing this. But there, yeah, it's another reality. We've been having to deal with our own shit for the last 6 to 8 months. Joys of living in a forest. Number 3 or number 4, I don't know. It's actually not that cold today. It's only about -8 or 9. And it's time for our once every 2 days wash, because we're having to wash in the sauna at the moment. So to have a wash, we have to light the sauna, and also light the fire in the sauna room to keep that warm. Otherwise it's very cold and you have to change and so forth. And I'm standing in the awning at the moment of our caravan. So there's the caravan behind us, and our table where we keep our washing up bowls and bring them in to wash up. And there's our recycling in a nice pile, and really glamorous. I'm just going to pan around. There's a fridge feed, which is off at the moment, and there's our washing machine, or rather pulsator, that we have to wash our clothes every so often. So I thought I'd just kind of walk and show you what we have to do to get washed. So bear with me. Oh, it's snowing. So there's our house. I'm keeping a fire going on there at the moment to keep the kitchen warm, because we've just had our bathroom tiled, and we're picking up flooring tomorrow. So I'm going to be laying floors tomorrow. I'm just going to pan around. There's our lovely winter residence. Very homely. I had to get the snow off the tent this morning because it had all piled up, and I've been ploughing today. Actually, there's a funny story about that. I had to call my neighbour, who's a fellow Fiat owner. Well, when I say neighbour, 10k away, and he had to come and rescue me in the tractor. So I managed to, while I was ploughing, run Luigi off the road and into a ditch, and I got stuck. So I had to call my mate, and he came and pulled me out. So he's only just left me, well, about 40 minutes ago. So I'm now putting on the sauna. So we're just walking where we've got to go. Got the bucket, that's for the cold water. So obviously we need cold water to wash and mix with the hot water. So I'm just going to pump that in a second, but I won't show you, that's a bit boring. And then we have to walk. Cleared the path today. I've been doing lots of yard snow work so that we can access to it. And here at the moment I've got our fire going in the dressing room / guest room to try and warm it up. At the moment it's minus in here, and I've got the sauna on at the moment. It's going to take about an hour to heat up. So yeah, and let's open that. I've just filled the hot canister with water, cold water. Takes about 25 litres, so that gives us the hot water. And then when I get the cold water, I'll put it down there in the corner, and that's how we wash. And that's our washing up station. So yeah, really glamorous, but it's actually I actually really like it. It's It's a good way to get clean. So yeah, this is the realities of having no bathroom per se. I have to light 2 fires. I'll go back now. I have to light 2 fires every time we want to kind of wash in this kind of temperature. It's stuck to the spade. You don't want to roll in this stuff. No. Really rude, but I'll get the crowbar and get that last little bit out. Yeah, that's not too bad. I thought I'd do something a little bit different for a change. This last couple of weeks, it's been fantastic in that more and more people have somehow found this channel, which is brilliant news. I'm glad people are enjoying the videos. And of course that comes with it comments, feedback, advice, some good, some not so good. But in and amongst all that, there's been some questions with regards, who are we? Why are we here in central Finland, that is? Why did we choose this place? What made us buy a forest in the middle of nowhere? What are our plans? Those kind of things. So I thought I'd try and answer some of those questions for those of you who were kind enough to ask, and also to share some information for other viewers. So I guess, who are we? I'm Neil, my wife is Helena. We moved from the UK in winter spring 24. My wife is Finnish, and she'd been living in the UK for a good number of years, decades, and we always had the desire to move to Finland at some point of our lives. Her returning, obviously, and for me moving to a new country, of which I've got a great affinity to, both because of Helena and her family and culture, etc. But also, back in the day, I used to work in Finland on and off, in one of my previous jobs, and I always remember falling in love with Finland literally the first day I came here. So it feels like, or it felt like, coming home. So that's why, in a nutshell, why we came to Finland. It wasn't just a random choice. We have family and friends here that that are part of our lives, and we wanted to kind of spend some time here. With regards why we chose the area we chose, which is central Finland, Keski-Suomi, neither of us are from this area per se. It's a neutral area, and we wanted to move somewhere that neither of us had particular roots, because sometimes that can be good and sometimes it can be not so good. So we wanted to try something different. We fell in love with the area. You know, we're surrounded by national forests, and we wanted somewhere that we could immerse ourselves in nature and the wilderness, and also do our bit and hopefully acquire some land, some forest that we could look after and protect. And this place, Keski-Suomi, near Kipijärvi, allowed us to do that. And we were very fortunate to stumble across this place on Facebook one evening on Marketplace, and after a couple of text messages we said we were interested. We came out to see it. A month or two later, came out on a Sunday morning, fell in love with it Sunday lunchtime, said we'd buy it, and by Monday morning offer accepted, agreed, and then literally a month later we bought it, and we suddenly found ourselves custodians of nearly a 50-acre forest and land, with a lakeside kind of shoreline, which is just amazing. Yeah, and we're very privileged, we're very lucky, but we also knew it was a hell of a lot of work to do, and set about renovating this 140-year-old cabin, because it is an old cabin. It needed a lot of love and restoration, and we felt that we could give it a go. We wanted to breathe some life back into it. And if I'm honest, we could never do something like this back in the UK, just because. And this was an opportunity for us to do something pretty special. That allowed us, or hopefully will allow us, to do what we want to do. We want to be able to get this up and running and open it up as some kind of retreat space, so that paying guests can kind of come in and experience the wilderness, see firsthand the nature, see how we live, and yeah, join us here to get away from the stresses of the world and the city life. We will be running things like yoga sessions, because both my wife and I are yoga teachers, mindfulness, paddleboarding, I'm a paddleboard instructor, and basically just doing stuff outdoors, maybe a bit of bushcraft, a bit of forest bathing, swimming, sauna, all of that kind of stuff. So generally just being able to be at one with nature, and enjoy the wildlife, and we have loads of that here. We want to create something that is quite holistic and nurturing, not these high-end retreats that you see advertised that cost thousands and thousands and are very pampered. It's going to be much more rudimentary and hopefully wholesome. And we've got some bell tents, and eventually I'm going to build some A-frame pods. We're going to convert one of our ITAs into a couple of summer rooms. So it'll predominantly be a summer place, but in time we'll maybe be able to offer it up into the winter season, because we are very blessed with seeing northern lights on a very regular basis. And also then we can partake in the winter activities, skiing, etc, etc. So we wanted to be able to do something differently. We wanted to be able to move away from the busy city and go back to nature. We previously, before this, were living 18 years or so in Bournemouth, down on the south coast in the UK. 7 miles of golden sand. It was a lovely area of natural beauty, but it was busy, and we both felt we needed to decouple ourselves from the busyness of city life. We're both quite introverted, and we find ourselves being recharged in nature, and it's just, yeah, wonderful. Did we know what we were undertaking, was one of the questions. The answer is we had an idea, but we probably were a little bit naive in the amount of work and the amount of money that it required. We're still working through that. Did we have a budget? Yes. Have we spent it? Yes. Are we going to finish it? Maybe in a couple of decades. but we'll get it to a point that is suitable for us and hopefully guests. It's exciting. It's been difficult. We're learning lots. We've made mistakes. And would I change it? No. Would we do it again? Probably not. But it's just wonderful here, and I can't wait for people to kind of come and see it firsthand and see what we've done and hopefully enjoy it. What's been the hardest thing? Hardest thing has been probably washing and drying our clothes, which we didn't even think about, if I'm honest. I think I've mentioned it in previous videos, but because we're living in a caravan, we don't have a washing machine. We've got a little pulsator that's powered by electric, but it basically just rotates the clothes in a drum of water that we've kind of put in ourselves with a mixture of hot and cold, which is a bit of a pain. But the difficult bit is then taking that wet washing out and drying it in a caravan when not the best heating, there's no radiators, the house hasn't really been warm until very, very recently, and it's -degrees, so drying clothes is tough. Drying sheets and bed linen nigh on impossible. So we've had to rely on our friends and family and pack up our bed linen and big items and take bags of laundry with us to those homes and have them washed and dried and then bring them back. And so we're very grateful that we've been able to do that on occasion. So that has been tough. I guess the next thing, the outside toilet has been challenging, but not that bad. I think the most other difficult bit is the variation in weather that we've had with the freezing and thawing and the slush and the ice. That has been quite challenging, because sometimes we've had to plough till quite late to clear, ready for deliveries the next day. So that has been difficult. I've learnt new skills, driving a tractor, ploughing, snow work, yard work. I've ached in places that I didn't even know existed, but it's all character building, as they say. The best thing? I think the best thing is just being so close to nature and being outdoors. Living in the city, you become very sanitized to things. It's very comfy, it's very urban, everything is laid on, and you spend a lot of time inside. Of course you go outside, but most of it's inside. Doing what we're doing, living in a caravan and doing the renovation, we have spent an awful lot of time outside, doing outside things. And it has allowed us to reconnect. And it's been pretty amazing. I've loved it. Helena's loved it. I think we've become healthier because of it. Yeah, it's been great. So that's probably been one of the best things, actually. Just the space, the connection, and the beauty of our surroundings. What do I miss, or what do we miss? I miss friends and family, of course, back in the UK. I mean, we still reconnect over WhatsApp, etc. But obviously, that has been a little bit difficult for both of us. It's a new country to me here, so obviously I've got the culture change, which I know a lot about anyway, but it's very different living and spending time. You know, I've been here 8 months, so it's been difficult sometimes, just losing that kind of opportunity to meet up with a friend or so and go and have a beer. That's been perhaps difficult. Some food items, but not many, if I'm honest. English mustard. So sometimes I stock up on that. I've just been back to the UK, so I've stocked up on a little bit of mustard. And the Vitty's dark chocolate biscuits. I miss them, actually. Yes. And I guess living where we do, the opportunity just to pop down to some of the bigger shops, we don't have that. You know, we live in a very small town, 1,000 people or so, which is 9 kilometres away. The next big town really is, you know, a good hour away, and even that's not very big. And then you go to Jyväskylä, which is nearly 2 hours away. So yeah, we've had to readapt to purchases and buying goods, but that's been good. I think we needed it, actually. When do we think we'll be up and running? I think and hope we'll be living in the main house cabin by March in some shape or form. We'll have heating, running hot water, cold water, flushing toilets, shower, washing machine. Bedroom will be hopefully pretty much finished, and the bathroom tupper will be in a bit of kind of state of half done, half not. The kitchen might be the thing that we will have to carry on working on. I don't think we can quite yet finish the kitchen, partly to do with funds. Need to earn a little bit more money to allow us, well, we need to earn a little bit of money to allow us to finish the kitchen, but that will come. So I think we'll be in by March, and I'd love to think we can start having family and friends come and stay sort of spring, maybe summer, you know, without having to like rough it. And then maybe even summer opening up to the guests. We don't know, that's probably a little bit of a stretch, but certainly visitors and guests late spring, early summer. And then the following summer, yeah, definitely we need to be in a position to actually start earning from this. What's next? Well, once we've got to the house to livable state, which will hopefully be, say, March, April, then hopefully the snow will start dispersing, although last year it was still hanging around in May. We need to spend a lot of time on the land. We want to focus on the land this spring, summer, clearing it, making it accessible, laying some wooden boards so that we can access certain parts that are a bit boggy, make a beach on the lake perhaps, get our vegetable patch up and running. Yeah, focus on the land. That's going to be our target this year. Yeah, we want to grow as much as we can and be as, you know, as self-sufficient as we can without being silly. Any regrets? People have asked. No, none. I guess sometimes I thought, oh, why didn't we do it earlier when we were a bit maybe younger? But actually we weren't really in a position to do it then. So yeah, of course it would be nice to do it earlier when you're fitter and when you're enjoying it here, you more of it, but actually we weren't quite in the right place. So yeah, it's right here, right now, and that's just as it is. So that's really it. Really, bit of a sharing. The earlier footage was really kind of showing some of the realities of living here. And in the next video, we'll go back to the renovation, because quite a lot's happened since I shared the last renovation video. we've been working quite hard and it's picked up a bit of pace. You know, we've got plumbing in place now. We've done lots of panelling inside, making the walls good. We're laid the floor. We've even got heat in some rooms. And maybe you'll even see signs of a flushing toilet and a shower. So yeah, there's stuff moving quite quickly now, and that will be shared in the next video, as well as some of decorating, which is unbelievable. Actually painting, which is seems so way off a long time ago. So yeah, we're moving quite quickly now. So yeah, hopefully you'll stay tuned for that. So thank you for watching. Keep with the comments. Yeah, some of them have been interesting, and yeah, we're learning. So yeah, keep watching. Thank you.